what I asked before is for people to say why it was that they were here, particularly their dreams of the future and the projects that they're currently involved in.
Michael. You can also call me Asura.
Asura. I like it.
Logistically speaking, I'm here because, well, at first it was all about farming and really trying to develop like a really good agricultural system here. I've worked at a few farms in the past, and they were really grassroots involved. It was like basic bare bones, moving away from pesticides and herbicides, all that stuff, and more about going on with copying what nature does. So we now do a lot of companion planting and kind of like using my experience and study from all the past to apply it into the present day. And so there's a lot of different manners of going about planting very well. But what I see coming out of that is the ability to feed the community, the ability to pull in money to kind of uphold the community and support it, and also a manner of being able to make so much more money that we're able to start more farms and do this for other communities or begin other communities. It's just really about helping people with fresh food. Food is the very center of all human society, and we need to reform the food system if we're going to remain a human society. We have a lot of problems as a species with agriculture right now. The population has boomed over like 6 billion in the past 200 years, and it's really difficult for us to know what to do. So it seems like people look toward things like GM foods, and they look toward monoculture cropping with big machines that can all take everything up and get it into the factory, process it, and get it out as fast as possible. It's the best solution that the species has come up with. But maybe I can help to create another solution, a more local solution in which you don't need a lot of the chemicals destroying the environment, and people should get back into farming. In this country, less than 1% of Americans are farmers, so why don't we raise it back up? Why don't we create something in which is easy to pass on, almost like a farm franchise? Oh, I'm the founder of a movement called Occupy Tesla. I teach do-it-yourself sustainability on Facebook. The like page has over 300K likes, gets about 1,500 likes a week. Post reaches over 350,000 people see a post every week.
Wow.
Highest was 1.4 million in a week.
Whoa.
So we have very, very good outreach.
Fantastic.
Really strong ability to actually teach people, like not just on the web, but eventually I want to do it physically.
Right.
Be able to provide people with the physical resources that we've been teaching them about the whole time.
Yeah, and like do more workshops here and stuff. Sarah. Nice to meet you. Sustainability stuff, solar, showers, and just like ways to live more sustainably. The food stuff, like agroforestry, like we can share the stuff we know. Like I think that our first like workshop and bringing a bigger crowd of people in will be like foraging in the woods and stuff.
Uh-huh. Tell us about how you got here.
I met Michael when I was at Omega.
Uh-huh.
And it just seemed like a good place to come for the winter. And after the Omega season was over.
And you were just there for one season? Were you staff there?
Yeah, I've been staff 3 seasons. Since
will you go
11.
back?
Yeah, I might go back at the end of this year for a little bit if I can get transport to still be involved with this. And I think I can pull more people from Omega here to do projects and get involved, because there isn't too much gardening and stuff for people to really get involved with there.
So the people are looking for more hands-on earth-based experience.
Yeah, I think there's definitely enough people there that want that, and people will want a more permanent community as well, because Omega's just seasonal. They go from April to October.
And it's Is it students and staff?
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, like it's all stuff, but they have workshops and people just learning will come there for that, and then staff get access to the workshops and their own, like specific staff classes. Yeah.
Been doing this stuff for a while, sprinkling eaves. I drop eaves contagiously. I'm like a big wandering tree. So I mean, it wasn't an accident that I ended up here. I, after graduating college, was looking for who was ready to be part of the new movement, operate by principles that were other than the current paradigm for whatever reason. So one thing led to another, heard about Rainbow Family, and then started actually meeting other people who seemed to resonate and work at the same level and frequency. And then it wasn't until kind of around the same time, I guess, I started visiting intentional communities and then realizing how special and precious this whole region is. As where the great peacemaker was, Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau, the NAACP, the kind of Omega and Kripalu and just all of these sacred energies, the big monastery, it's the His Holiness Karmapa, just this whole valley and region. I'm from Colorado. I want to go to Angkor Wat. I want to go to Machu Picchu. I want to build a Damen Horror. Like of all these things, like for me, I feel like we're all trying to make something that outlasts ourselves and it creates that meta order, that super order, where somebody can come in totally fresh with whatever predispositions and be able to plug in and see themselves in it and get activated. And so that every occupation was like that every gathering can be like that any household or garden can be like that, is something I've really gotten passionate about that I didn't used to. It's mundane, it's boring, it's whatever. I'm only interested in the special magic stuff, not the everyday magic stuff. So making everyday magic accessible and looking at the culture, the transformation of culture that's happening towards joy, towards empathy, towards compassion, and away from hate and ridicule and oppression and subjugation and all of the opposite spin. So for me, that Tonglen or transformation or alchemy practice is crucial to that. Sacred hospitality is crucial to that, and that the Arc is this being just one instance of this idea or formula of best practices of let's take some place that otherwise doesn't have all its needs met. They're willing to work by this alternative formula or group and to somehow make it work. So we've had Bill Henry as our savior, as our angel, as our person to enable us to get this started, to really show that this can work and do this right in whatever way. And at the same time, there's lots of other people already who've had a taste of this and gone off and started other things. So just to be able to get away from competition towards radical cooperation, radical inclusion, and head there and somehow avoid the friction on the way. So lots of friction and lots of, I want to be here more.
And the most important project for you here? The thing that you're most excited about?
Saving the land, getting the forest, if possible, keeping it all together is still my main aspiration. Getting somebody willing to underwrite it, pay for it, making it so that the pieces on the puzzle get from the 1 year to the 5 year to the, okay, it's all still saved. But if we wait 7 years, it won't be there. So that's urgent, but I'm really excited about all the amazing connections, people really engaged in transformative culture and in all the practices we're talking about, being able to really plug in and see some piece of that here this year. That's so by the end of the year having more of a model example for people to plug into and a real calendar and formula for people to know what to expect and for it to just naturally arise instead of this scramble to, oh, we have to deal with this outside thing, but that it's just that there's that merger or synthesis of the internal community and how we're existing outside of us, which mostly means revenue streams and then how to handle that and deal with everything. But all kinds of other stuff I'm excited about. Video series and website and the garden and the mountain and oh my god, I'm excited about everything here.
Lola?
Lola.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, let's, where to start?
Why are you here?
I'm here because I like a way of life I can build from scratch. I don't know how to make plastic. I don't know how to make metal. I don't know what to do with it once it rusts. I like stuff I can, live off of that's replenishable. Like, one project I'm going to start up on the mountain that I've been really interested in is living structures and as homes. A guy here, Sean, he's building yurts out of, sliced wood. But it's the perfect
Living structure.
Yeah, living structures. I really like the idea of having something that's already living, so like if it passes away, then you still have a dead home. I mean, we all have houses made out of wood. And yurts are the perfect structure for that, so that's one of my projects, my personal projects, so I'm gonna start up there, way back in the forest where no people, hardly any people can tamper with it. That way it has time to flourish.
Yeah, it is.
Anything about one or the
As we
village?
talk about one.
I'm gonna start with one.
Huh?
I'm good with tangling together
I've seen this
constructively
bug
already
today.
living plants.
About this big.
Like a couple months ago, Sarah and I
Black and white spots.
took down the blueberry or the blackberry bushes, excuse me.
And it
But
looked
they
like
were
a
just a
beetle to
tangled
me,
mess.
but
We couldn't
I
reach
ain't
into
never
them.
seen no
They
beetle
were
that looked
just
like
growing
that.
wild. So we've like
Picked it
French
up
braided
on
them and
the,
weaved them together,
truck
and now
on
like we
the-
Aren't
can.
they thorny?
Yeah, I have warrior wounds afterwards.
I bet.
Yeah, but now there's like a little blackberry hut, and we can reach in and like make a couple of jars of jam that we weren't able to. So
I know it would have been a mess trying to go through it when it was just like a bramble.
I would have wound up squishing more than I would eat.
Yeah.
More directly though, I'm interested in food farming. Because I've bounced around from a farm here, a farm there. I've been in and out of this place for 3 years. And so far I've been part of 2 gardens. Last year it was just like a row of one plant, a row of another. This year we're intercropping and polycropping. And to get experience with seeing how each different kind of garden, going from a monocrop row to a everything but kitchen sink row, you know, it's interesting, and I'm happy to learn. That way, one day far down the road, I'll be able to start my own little village of living structures and live in a house with vines for steps, and be able to tend to the garden that are like shrouded off by a blackberry vine so the deer can't eat my food, you know?
Natural buffers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Piano too.
I'm also really interested in connecting with other people. I was born and raised 30 minutes from here, and I had no idea this place was here until a couple years ago. And I wasn't even from the city. I've been driving around this area forever and a day, as long as I can remember.
Look at his shirt.
Right. I'm an ex-military vagabond. Served in the Army. I've been a Rainbow Kid since I was 15. 18 years now. Bebopping around the country. I'm here as a byproduct of this one. Met her in Oklahoma and traveling and doing the rainbow gatherings and whatnot. And now I'm here. My big spearhead project this year is a group I'm starting with C4. It's counterculture crash courses. I'm big into survival, living off land, foraging, things of that nature, going into the woods with nothing, coming out with everything you need and then some. I teach self-defense courses, I teach rape prevention courses for women. Something Bill wants me to start doing up here is start doing self-defense and get some yoga people and whatnot in here and start that too, but more empowerment to people. And while appreciating the passive side of life, teaching the aggressive side with a responsible hand. And I think that karma comes in all forms, and sometimes we have to be that hand, so I'm here to do that as far as that's concerned in life. I'm not one to stand quietly by and just watch something happen.
And what of your work here that are you most excited about?
This year I'm really big into the whole mushroom operation we have going on. Last year I spent a lot of time in the mountain just looking at them and taking pictures and looking and learning their names, and more than just the cliche hippie side of the mushroom thing, but like oysters and reishi and learning the medicinal properties. And I got a lot into making tinctures and stuff like that last year, and learning about all the different things we can eat and drink here for health. And this farm, without us helping it, has a lot of good things going on all by its lonesome. So the fact that we can harvest it, and it's neat to be able to walk through a forest and know the plant, and you don't just look at a tree, you know that tree, you know what it does, what it's good for, you know the plants underneath it, why they grow underneath it. Like, it's I'm a guy that likes my shoes on, but I still kind of want, like, metaphorically, my toes to be in the dirt, you know? And this is a good place to learn that. It's a good place to, like, remember why we're human and maybe even get a scratch of humanity back by getting back into it and remembering that we're not people that live in little boxes. We're meant for something more than that. And we're hunter-gatherer creatures, and we're intrigued to know the names and the reasons things are the way they are, and why what bugs want to live on which things. So I'm here learning some earth bending, getting into that.
Love that. Thank you.
Not a big religious person, big spiritual person. So this is a good place for that too. You don't have any one theology shoved down your throat ever here.
Bring your own God.
You can bring your own God, name your own God, and sit in a room with people with all different faiths and still have that same God and like recognize that in each other. And it's cool. You know? It's more than just saying the word namaste, like we get it, we know what it means, we see each other's souls here, and that's cool. It's something different. And conflict. We're good at that here, we're good at that. But we're getting better at resolution. Like I said, this year is a different year for the ARC. It's picking up. Now when we have an idea, we get together, we talk, it goes on the board, and instead of sitting there, it gets a checklist by its name because we're down to get some things done here. And I'm a seasonal guy, so I'm in and out, but I am the vagabond.
What are your seasons here?
So far, this is my second year here. Last year I was kind of the tail end of the summer and into the fall, and then back and forth, you know. And then this year, since a couple months already, up in the woods. We're the two that actually live on the mountain right now, and all of us are preparing the mountain for other guests, so it's good times.
Moon Raven, are you going to do an intro?
Please tell us a thing or
An
two.
intro on camera?
Can you? Would you?
I can do an intro on camera, but I'm not sure what I can say because I'm here on a different.
You should talk about what it is that you're doing for Point A in New York and
Yeah, these
why
folks
it
are
is
really.
these folks are going to see you again.
All right, yeah. So I'm Moon Raven or Raven, and have been come from the Boston, Massachusetts area where I lived a long time. Got involved in communities quite a while back. Got involved actually in radical politics first, and decided if you're going to build a revolution, you need a base for it, and the base is going to have to be communities. And built an income-sharing community in the 90s that unfortunately fell apart. One thing to sort of measure of that is that my three closest friends right now are the three people I built the community with. And one of them would be, my friend Amos, who will be around in another month, is trying to build something out of California. And I'd be doing it with him if we could agree on a coastline. And after many attempts in New England to try to build community and them all, since this all falling apart, I heard about the Point A project, and Point A is building income-sharing, egalitarian communities in basically the northeast urban corridor, and I said, yeah, I'm going to do that. So, I mean, I like the rural, I like the urban, but I want to build something up here in the northeast. And one of the cities they named was New York City. I said, sure. So I went down in January to work with Paxos for a few months, and then said...
Down to Central Virginia, down to the communes.
Down to Twin Oaks and Acorn communes there, which is great. I love them, but I want to do it up here, and I realized it didn't make sense to me to be trying to build something in New York City from Virginia. So I'm now living at the Ganas community on Staten Island in New York City, and I'm around. You know, one of the things is that I'm not an organizer, unfortunately, or to have these communities organized. I'm a good support person. I'm a good person to work with other people that are building communities and try to figure out what do you need and how can I help it evolve. And like I said, I'm now in the city, so I'm a train right away. I can come up sometime if there's a use for it.
Excellent.
The community in Staten Island, do they have a used clothes store?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's that.
And a used
Okay.
bookstore and a used furniture store. That's, yeah.
Where he
I've
works
been
on
in the
Sundays?
building one. It's
I
a
work-
really beautiful place. Yeah.
I work in the book cafe, as they call it, the bookstore and stuff, so. but I only do that on Sundays because my real work is with Point
Yeah.
A.